The entire world is facing the worst inflation it has ever seen. Economies are failing badly, and the leaders are also failing poorly to counter these inflation, to take counterproductive measures against the rising inflation and the failing markets and economy. Hello and welcome to the Correspondent.pk. I am Aisha Sadiqa, and today we're going to talk about how the world is going into another recession. Will 2022 be another year that the global recession take place? Today at The Correspondent, we will talk about what are the issues, what are the reasons that the world is moving towards an economic crisis, an economic failure, and what should have been done and what should be done now to improve the conditions. So the inflation is biting no matter where you live, whether you live in Asia, whether you live in Europe, or whether you live in the Americas. The economy is failing severely. The conditions are same. Prices are rising severely, and the governments have no idea what to do about it. Markets are failing all over the world. Protesters are on the ground. Protesters, thousands, hundreds and thousands of protesters are on streets each and every day across the world. The prices are rising, and there is food security to millions of people who are going hungry. Now, how did this happen? And all of a sudden, did it happen all of a sudden, or there were signs shown, but the leaders were so ignorant to those issues? And how did the governments not see it coming? And what are they doing to fix it? Are they even going to fix it? Are the measures working? And what are those measures? Is a recession coming? Now, these are all the questions that need to be answered. Talking about recession and talking about inflation, we must talk about the numbers. Now, US inflation number has risen to 8.5%, while Canada's is 6.8%. Britain is facing a 9% inflation, which is an 30 years high, and Pakistan is facing 13% inflation. Global cost of living crisis. It means that the living cost has increased abruptly, 50%, 100%. Some items prices increased 50% and some increased 100 and even more in the world. For example, if something in the US was of $1, let's say you could get a liter of milk for $1, it has risen to 1.50. That is 50% of its original price. And same goes for eggs, meat, chicken, petrol, and rent. So it needs to be kept in mind what is going on. Similarly, the condition is worse in the developing countries such as Chile, Peru, and Sri Lanka, which has defaulted its economy in the previous week. So the stock markets at the same time is plunging, whether it be of the US, of Japan, of UK, India, or Pakistan. It is plunging every day more and more, and everything has become much more expensive than it was before. Now, some experts, even the World Bank has recently said that the world is going into a recession because of the Russia-Ukraine war, the Russia-Ukraine crisis. But if we take a look back to January 2022, when the when the crisis has not even appeared, even then the condition was not good. So the commodity prices were rising even at that point. Not to mention, oil was higher 57%, soybean 34%, wheat 29%, and chicken and meat by 59%. So it means that Russia and Ukraine war is not the only reason that the prices were increased of. If we go back 2 years, COVID began, a pandemic began, the entire world was closed down, industries were closed down, and every economy was closed down. So that was one of the major reasons. That was the beginning of a recession in the world, we can say, because people stopped buying things as the world was under a lockdown. So people didn't need to go out as much, and they were not spending money on the items that they previously spent on. But recently, after the COVID is now somewhat contained, after 2 years, the industries have resumed again. But the after effects of COVID can be seen in the world, because we have seen that even though people have started going out, people have started spending money, and much more money than they used to back in 2019. They are spending much more money as compared to that, but still it is not enough to, give a boost to the economy that was affected badly by the COVID. Now, the question here arises is, why didn't the world leaders, why didn't the governments take any measures at that time? Because obviously the world was at a threshold, the world was facing a very poor crisis, and everything was stopped, everything was halted. But a leader should have a wider sense. They should see what will happen in the future. They should take measures in advance. But no government, whether it be US, whether it be UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, they did not take any measures of containing it to give a boost to its economy when the COVID is over, because thousands and millions of dollars, billions of dollars were spent to contain COVID. Now, war didn't cause inflation, and pandemic started at 135 million people were food insecure before the COVID, but after COVID, now 276 million people are food insecure, and 500,000 people are facing famine. Now, the developing countries are the most affected, but the developed countries are also being affected by it, and we don't know how large the effects of this recession will be, how large the effects of this inflation will be. So it's better late than never. The world leaders are meeting for a World Economic Forum, for Davos conference. They should come up with policies, they should come up with measures that will be able to contain the recession and increasing inflation in the country, so that the world actually, so that we can bounce back, we can go back to better living conditions, affordable living conditions in the world.